Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I hope you all are well today. Sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's chat for a second. Your rainwater. I know that a lot of people, pretty much exist off of rainwater. Not a lot. I don't know. There are some. But there are those who rely on rainwater catchment for their water. And, I've always had some concerns about that myself. Now, I much prefer rainwater to watering my garden, with a hose. And there are those, if you water out of the pond, water out of a water source, whatever like that. But I've always preferred rainwater to, any kind of chemicalized water that we might get. But I read something on an article today that gives me concern. I had thought about this before. Maybe I thought about it because I had read about it before. I don't remember. But I've always kind of had these concerns because it seems, okay, how pure is rainwater? We used to drink it when I was a kid. But no harm done except for that third ear in the back of my head that I never let you all see. But I've always kind of thought, well, we got a lot of pollutants in our world, and regardless of this idea that the rain, washes the air, and that's why it seems so fresh after a rain and all that. So, well, okay, well, if it did, what's it washing out of the air, and what's it bringing with it? So I've always kind of had concerns because we live, in an ecological system that pretty much everything has an effect on everything else. And so I wondered, well, if the groundwater is polluted, if our fields are chemical laden, if the whole world is full of micro nanoplastics, how can rainwater be pure, right? How can it be healthy? So I read something today in an article, and I will put this. I'm not going to try to read it here. I'm not going to try to even quote from it. I'm just going to kind of give the idea and also ask you all what you know about it, what your opinions of this are, because I know we have a lot of smart people out there. But I will put the link to the article over on the Patreon channel. When I put this video on Patreon, then I'll put the link to the article down below so that anybody, if you're over there, and you ought to be, you'll be able to read the whole article, get everything, and give your comments and give your thoughts or see what you think about it. So it says, the gist of the article was that there are what they call forever chemicals in rainwater. And that these forever chemicals, and I forget it's a long word that I couldn't pronounce when I read it, let alone trying to remember it. But my coffee is made with Berkey water. That's why we don't drink anything unless it's been run through a Berkey. So he was talking about these forever chemicals, and as I understand, they say the test that they ran, I forget who did the test, you can read about it, found it in rainwater even in the Himalayan plateau and Antarctica. So it is not like you can go to some place in the country and it's going to be better than another place, because apparently what happens is that a lot of the what is that? We learned it in grade school, right? Evaporation, and then condensation, and then rain, and then the evaporate. My kids could probably explain it, but I've forgotten it. That so much of that also comes from sea spray. It comes from the oceans that are polluted, right? So they say that the rainwater everywhere in the world is polluted with these forever chemicals that are cancer causing and other causing and whatever. So, that concerns all of us. I think that a lot of people are out there that feel pretty good about, or have felt pretty good about rainwater. What does that mean for us? What do we do? How do we get away from the pollution? Now, I'm no eco warrior, but it's just like conservationalists. The greatest conservationalists in the world were the hunters and the outdoorsmen. I am concerned with the state of our physical world, because it's the world that we live in. And my question is, and I'm not going to say we need laws against this or this. That's not at all what I'm saying, because that just gives the wrong people more power. What I'm concerned about is, how do I deal with it personally? And how do I try to mitigate the dangers that are associated with this? So, like I said, and like most of you know, I've always recommended Berkey water filters. And there will be some out there. Now, for anybody looking into it, there are some out there that people have said, well, I like this one because it's cheaper. But if you get down, and it may look exactly like a Berkey, but if you get down into the real nitty-gritty of it, it's not as good as a Berkey. And it all has to do with the filters. You can buy Berkey filters and make your own, essentially, Berkey filter with a couple of 5-gallon pails, So, but, as the Berkey filter and their stainless steel looks better on my kitchen counter. So that's why we do that, better than to have a couple of 5-gallon paint buckets up there. So anyway, it makes me start to think about what options we might have to get off of to get away from this. I don't want, when I go out and I water my garden with a hose, I just hate the fact that I know all of the chemicals that are coming out of city water. And rural water ain't that much better. That are going on to my plants, that are going in the soil, that are obviously going to be absorbed by the vegetables that we then eat. It's a circle, as you know. And I had always felt better about it raining, although I had that in the back of my head about, what's in the rainwater. So now, I don't feel all that much better about that, because the water that goes into the ground, I don't care what it does to my grass, but the stuff that I'm going to eat, I do care. And it's going to be taken up by, my apples and peaches and tomatoes and peppers and potatoes and corn and all that, And I don't like that. It kind of gets into the... Now the best, and I don't know so much about this. Now, a property that my brother and sister and I own, we have springs, spring water. I would assume that that's going to be better, simply because of the natural filtration that occurs in the earth. But I don't know. I'm not saying that that's true. I need to look into that more. But it makes me now start to think, and so I'd love to hear your all's opinions on this. If any of you have a knowledge base about this, please, share it with the rest of us. But now I'm starting to think more about greenhouses. Larger scale greenhouses to keep rainwater off of my plants. And then, what kind of processing do I do to water the plants? Berkey does have an inline filter. Actually, it's made for showers. But it can probably be, and for all I know, maybe they have something for a hose now too. I don't know, but it can probably be. I would think that it could be adapted for a hose. I'm going to look into that, because I don't want all this stuff on the stuff I'm going to eat. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. What do you all think about it? Let me know, and. I think that look into it yourself. Like I say, if you're on Patreon, I'll put the The link over there for you to read the article yourself. If you're not on Patreon, I recommend that you come over there, because if you really are interested in preparedness, I put stuff over there that I don't put on YouTube, simply because YouTube won't promote it. It won't let some of it out there. And also, to be honest, it's kind of a way that I manage the viewership of it, because some of these things are a little bit controversial, and I just get too many idiots commenting on things that they don't know anything about. They think they do, but they don't, and then that just confuses the issue. It misleads people, and then I got to spend time on there bouncing them out. So let me know what you think about that, and remember that my videos are always brought to you, regardless of what you may see in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, or whatever. They're always brought to you by this series. Let me back up like that. The Stonemont series, my books. Yes, I am a writer. That's what I do for a living. I'm not just a YouTube guy. My books, and it's all about preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a total collapse. I'm going to be talking about that more on another one that I make today, I think. They are available, and there's the reversion, the revival, the renewal, an appeal to heaven, and the blessings of freedom. And yes, I'm working on the 6th book feverishly. Just recently mailed out a bunch more orders to those of you who had sent in for autographed copies. Yes, you can get autographed copies. There's a way to do that. All the links are down below in the information section. And a pinned comment I've taken to doing that, so it's because a lot of people didn't see the information section, as well as a link to come over and join us on the Patreon channel, and I hope that you do. So tell me what you think about the water, and if you have concerns, or if you have any. There is one thing, by the way. I did one yesterday, was it? Yeah, yesterday, about welcoming new members, new viewers, new subscribers, new members on Patreon, and just kind of the rules of the road and what we're about here. And, you know, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it if you're new. And what was I going to say here? Well, anyway, I don't know. If it's important, I'll say it in the next one. Okay, you all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and water is like right up top at the basics. If we don't have our water squared away, we don't have the rest of it squared away too much yet, so we got to do that. So let me know what you think. I'll be interested, eager to read your comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.